Good afternoon. We are unfortunately seeing some gray skies out there today. It's one of those gloomy days that we'll just have to put up with through the afternoon hours as well. One thing that was nice was seeing that sun come up an hour earlier than it did on Friday. Maybe you noticed that difference. And here's what we're looking at right now for our sunrise and sunset time. So for today, the sun was up a little bit after 7 a.m. instead of after 8 a.m. Unfortunately, that does mean an earlier sunset. We're talking about 5:04 today is when we will see that sunset. Looking ahead, and by the time we get into December, of course, we're still losing daylight heading into the solstice. So our sunrises get later and our sunsets get earlier. The solstice will be on the 21st. We're looking at, of course, our shortest daylight hours on that date. And then by the time we're into January, we're already gaining daylight again and seeing those sunrises and sunsets, giving us a little more time, a little more light. We're currently losing almost 3 minutes of daylight, but here's also some good news. The rate of loss of daylight is coming down too. So a couple of things to keep in mind, especially if you don't love losing this daylight, is that, you know, we're looking at moving into that time of year where we're going to start turning things around coming up in a little over a month. So here's a look at our latest, again, conditions. We've got some cloud cover overhead. We've got wind coming in out of the northwest. It's brisk, so it's going to make it feel chillier out there. We've got winds gusting into the 20s, even some 30s over in Alexandria, and wind speeds are in the teens. Temperatures are in the 30s in the north. We're at 30 degrees in Langdon, so below freezing there. Might be a little slick around Langdon, back over into Devil's Lake and Rolla if you had any precipitation. Might be a little icy in spots. And then Southern Valley more into those upper 30s, trying to get into some 40s. Sisseton's at 43. And here's a look at your radar and satellite map. You can see that we've got the last of that precipitation trying to work its way out in northeastern parts of our viewing area. And then what's left is just overcast skies right now. And that will carry on. In our first alert hour by hour planner, expect to have some overcast conditions, wind coming in out of the northwest. Not as strong heading further into the afternoon. We'll have winds gusting more into the teens and then in the 20s and 30s, but still a brisk wind. And as we make our way into tonight, just more of that overcast sky, which can be helpful in the overnight hours this time of year because it helps to keep us from cooling down as much as we could. And by 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, this little break between systems, that will end. You can see some pink on the map there. That indicates the potential for some freezing drizzle moving in. And as we expand the view and move ahead into this is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we'll see this first round with this next system moving through of some mixed precipitation moving through in the day on Tuesday. So that's lifting northward, northeastward. Once that lifts northward, we get into what's considered the warm sector of this system, and we'll be relatively on the drier side overnight and into Wednesday. The exception for Wednesday will be along the border area that we might still see some active weather going on. Southern Valley may actually have a little sunshine. So it depends on where you are Wednesday, but with the system more centered north of us. But heading into the Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, the cold front will start to move through. We'll get some wraparound snow with that, and that will get a little more active for Thursday. So this system is going to influence our weather for several days coming up here this week. It does not bring about a big chill, though. We're looking at temperatures Friday, maybe 30s to about 40 degrees, and then we're recovering back into some mid-upper 40s. We've got a nice little heat wave, if you will, coming up for next week. We could even see 50.
I think we could definitely call it a heat. I was going to say feet wave, a heat wave from if you go from 40 to 49.
Yeah,
definitely, especially this time of year.
Well, and how we started the month too.
Yes.
You know, Halloween, early October was frigid, so we are already recovering from that.
Definitely are. Lisa, thank you so much. Well, straight ahead at noon, thousands of school districts around the country are losing dozens of librarians. We'll have the latest on why that is and the push to change course.